see you upright.
I was sideways. That's great.
You were totally sideways, and that's cool. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Love that movie.
I love watching.
How are you? Well, hold on a second. So, can you please tell us who you are? What is your name? And if you know what your name means, can you share that with us?
Well, hold on. I'm gonna position a little bit. Please forgive me, guys. I am new to Instagram Live. My name is Merrie. Actually, it's Mary Carroll, and I was born on Christmas Eve. So I don't know. Mary, of course, means something. Even the Merry, but obviously someone got cute with my birthday. So I think it's kind of a given when you have a holiday birthday. So that is my name. Sorry, I'm still positioning. That's a little better, I think. But anyway, yeah, my name is Mary.
Oh, that is so sweet. I feel like those of you that are born in holiday time, you either love it or you hate it, but there's just a certain kind of sweetness that engulfs you, and you just have a sweetness about you.
Thank you. Well, sometimes I do. It depends on my mood, of course. There.
So, Mary, do you mind telling us what it needs to be? What does it mean to be a filmmaker for you?
Oh,
What does that mean to you?
well, at the minute it means I should have had my tripod set up. Correct. But for me, I'm coming back to this. Having gone to film school when I was younger, so I am coming back to this in middle age. So it's a second chance. It's the ability to be able to communicate the way I want to, and just have fun doing what I do for work. Which is what we all want, especially I think with what's been going on. We're all really reassessing and reprioritizing the things that we do.
Oh, amen to that. Amen to that. I just want you to know you are giving us so much life from the auditory that's coming in, from the visuals. I'm loving the
Uh,
colors. I'm a visual coloring person, and so everything is hitting me. And thank you for giving us so much life.
thank
That's one.
and but opportunity and allowing me to all your followers.
Of course. Okay. So next question. How did you find and how do you use comedy as a vehicle for storytelling?
Well, this particular piece that I did, um, second, sorry, my phone wants to go to sleep. But the thing about it all is, it's kind of an anecdote. I'm sure you've been in situations where you've gone online and you've seen things and just kind of went, huh. So as far as the comedy of it, it was just one of those situations where, if it's white, I'm just gonna say it. If it's white people, it's like this. It's described in this way or presented in this way, and if it's black people, it's a little sideways, if you will. It's different, and it's something that I have come across before. And in this particular case, it was a very innocuous phrase that I typed online. And when you type black people and anything, often you'll get something totally different than what you expected. So there really wasn't anything to do but to laugh or cry. So I chose to laugh about it and just make it a short.
Well, we are so lucky to have this short as part of our third year anniversary, our third year festival. Thank you for, uh, thank you for submitting. I find filmmakers to be so great because you are telling the beginning, middle, and end of the story. And I find filmmakers that are brave enough to make shorts even more incredible because you're deciding to make a beginning, middle, and end story under 30
Yeah.
minutes. And some say it's impossible. And time after time again, y'all say, uh-uh,
Absolutely,
Emotions.
absolutely.
And so thank you for moving us in that way. Okay. So you said that you went to film
I
school
did.
when you were
I
younger,
did.
and then you came back to it. I am a firm believer in allowing life to move through your art. And there's something wonderfully brave about being able to do art, go live, whether you have to go live or you're choosing to go live,
Right.
and come back to it. I think there's something so. I just think that our art beats us stronger when we do something like that, or when we have to do something like that. Can you, in a few words, tell us what that feels like? Leaving it, doing it, leaving, doing that.
Okay. So what that feels like for me is, well, first of all, I should say I did work in the industry for 10 years. It's a script reader. So, like a lot of people in my situation, you go out to LA, you make friends, you work in the industry, but you don't really get that far. And it gets kind of soul crushing after a while, especially if, you had expectations. But, I'll just put it out there. I, I'm not the first of my family to go to college, but, I'm one of the first to kind of maybe break out. It was a prestigious school. My church put money in. There were all these expectations. People of color. That's the community. It takes a family. It takes a community. And that's what it took for me to go to the school. So I went and I did a little bit, and there seems to be an upward arc, but it plateaus. And at some point, you realize you have to make money. So I segued into marketing. Um, I suppose what it means to me now is, though, going out into the real world, as I like to call it, and having real jobs other than all the random jobs I took when I worked in entertainment. Um, what you find out is a lot of it is the same. You come across the same struggles. You think it's going to be easier doing something else, but often it's not. You know, all these other jobs that maybe you think you go into it thinking this is either beneath me or this isn't what I want, and you think, oh, this is going to be easy, and they're not because there are thousands and thousands of people for whom that's their perfect gig. So I had all this struggle, and I was working at a nonprofit, and the manager of the nonprofit came to me, and she was trying to promote me up, and I had already been promoted up out of the job I liked, which was helping with the grant writing and marketing and the website design. I figured if I was going to settle, quote unquote, that's what we say to ourselves. But if you were going to make that change, that segue, then this was a great way to do it. But long story short, there were other people there who could do it, and there were certain things I could do that other people couldn't do. So they made the decision to promote me out of that job, just to keep everyone there, which is something that often happens, when people downsize, or upsize, as the case may be. But anyway, she she saw my struggle. I didn't want to do it. I did not want the job where I had to be in the office at 9 o'clock. I wanted a job where I could write grants and be in a coffee shop because we're artists, and there was something about it that called to me, when it was that job. So what this means to me now is, as I was saying, she flat out said to me, "What do you want to do 10 years from now? Is this the job?" But she said it in a mama way. She was the nonprofit owner. She was flat out honest. We're promoting you, but you don't want it. So now is the time for you to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. I'm 50. I'm approaching 50. I had to give up the cushy job. So what this means to me now is going back and working at a camera store and working retail and setting up cameras in my home, sometimes sideways cameras, and working the lights and doing it all by myself. Like I said before, it's another shot um, at doing what I think I really was meant to do.
Well, I thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that with us. I think that, it, like you said, it does take a community to lift up an artist. It takes truly loved ones that are either real kin, community folks, or mentors and or mentors. Hell, even your folks.
Yes,
It takes all of these
yes,
energies to lift your artistry and um
all the way
so
up.
thank you all
Yes,
the way up.
up, up.
Come on, come on.
I'm trying to. I'm reaching. I'm getting a step ladder, and I'm climbing up there.
Yeah, and I love what you said about it really doesn't matter what industry it is because someone there, that is their thing.
That is their perfect job. It is.
That's the job. And
Yeah.
my gosh, so I guess you might as well be just sticking the thing that we want to do.
Right. If there's a struggle, it should be a struggle doing what it is that you really are meant to do, what you're called to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, and to me that is the epitome of what it means to be fearless. I don't see it any other way but that. Like just you just choosing to be so fearless, and that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I love to ask my guests these questions like, okay, who in your world? It kind of sounds like that nonprofit person was a really great voice on your shoulder that kind of like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it was a
but
it was a workforce nonprofit. Back in the day,
oh,
you would have called it the unemployment office. Even though, please don't call me. I do not work for EDD. Even I can't get in touch with EDD. So do not. I repeat, do not call me.
y'all hear her? Don't
Do not
don't
call
you
me.
do it? Don't do it.
But it's a career step.
Just the move.
Yes, really right. But it is a career step. So I did that here in San Francisco at one of them. And so ironically, that was the job, was a good job for other people. And, being at that type of nonprofit, we were always very mindful that it's not just about the job, but it's also about the individual and what it is they're good at and what it is they want to do, because otherwise they'll stay there. So we were always about that ourselves, move into other positions, other nonprofits, um, as well as the people who came in. So, that it kind of went with the job, so to speak. So she was very good at it because it was part of the job.
It's cool. It's really cool. Well, I'm gonna just do a little step on top of that, which is so. Who would you say, as you look through your life, has been someone that's kind of been maybe a consistent or not consistent kind of angel on your shoulder that's been like, hey, did you make a movie? Hey, did you write a script? Hey, how you doing with that? When was the last time you put yourself on camera? Like, who do you have anyone like that in your life, in your head?
I would say I do. I mean, all of my family members, I have family back in the South, in Arkansas, who would do that and occasionally ask me about it. Um, I had friends when I was in LA who were like that. But I have to say, having moved to San Francisco, I haven't quite built that family yet. So a lot of it has had to be myself. And also, it's like, yeah, a lot of it has had to be myself. You're just not happy. I'm not happy when I do everything. It's not cool. I write. I enjoy writing. I draw. I enjoy my artwork. But other than those three things, the film, the artwork, and writing, there's not a whole lot that totally fulfills me. I enjoy what I do now because, like every other artist, it's a gig job, and I do a lot of great visual merchandising. So it's a very enjoyable job. But as far as those core, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Those were the three, and they kind of work together. Now, if I could be a rock star, if you could throw that in there, if I could magically learn how to play the guitar, other than a few chords, then there would be four.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say you're a rock star. Can I call you Auntie
Hey,
Rock Star of our festival
I love
this
that.
year? Because Auntie Rock Star, you're rock star status because like all the things you're doing, man. Like the fact that you're your own angel on your shoulder, you're giving us all life.
Well, you have to be.
All of you.
You have to be because sometimes you do have people in your life who are like that, and but sometimes you don't. And it's not that they're mean; it's just practical people. You have practical people. So unless you can self motivate, you're not going to get to that place unless you have the ability to self correct. Because sometimes those people won't be there. You're not always going to have those friends, those 20, 30-year-old friends that you have when you leave college and you're all trying to get those same gigs together. People get married, they have kids, and but you're still doing what you're trying to do. So if you can't be that person during the lean times when friends are kind of scarce and or they're raising toddlers, then you're gonna fall out too. Well, no, there you go. No toddlers here. But because you have to do for yourself right now. You're doing your thing,
Yeah.
but you're doing it also as a family unit. And you can't always be there for your girl or for your boy. Sometimes you have to be there for, the little one.
I chopped up some watermelon pieces in some sunshine, and I just told Dad,
Yeah,
that's the secret now. Well, what are you gonna
yeah,
do? You just gotta like. I feel like this generation, we women, hey, I women out there in the street, kids doing, you know, um, be kind, but like choose you too.
yes, yes.
Hey, comedian of August, I see you. Hey, you. She said, hey, you. I see you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, do you have any questions? Like, how? What? You know, our audience is such an eclectic mix of. I like to say black women artists, black women fans, um, our audience, anyone watching, do you all have any questions for us regarding film? Type it in the chat, and we will totally ask this brilliant filmmaker in front of us. I know that one question I always ask filmmakers is, you know, as someone that's a comedian, that we make films too.
Right, right.
How do you, in the midst of it, go? I'm going to finish this thing. In the midst of your line producer quitting, in the midst of the actor saying, I'm a method actor and I don't believe in this line. But in the midst of it, just like you being your angel on shoulder, do you have any tricks in the bag that makes you go, this is it started, we're gonna finish this, like from beginning to end?
I think for me, and my experience has been different. I really sympathize with all the youth right now. If you're in college or you're a young comedian trying to break out during the time, there was a movie. What was the time of cholera? I think. Well, it's time of COVID. I guess that would be the next book if that individual was still here. But I think it's Love in the Time of Cholera. But um, trying to make a film during COVID. See, I left a nonprofit, and then I did what anyone else would do. Anyone from 7 years of age to 80 if they use the computer, and that is I went online. I took every training I could find. I found every YouTube training, every content creator training that I could find, and just as I was getting ready to start posting ads and look for people to help me with the film, COVID. I'm just like, what the, you know? So I shot it all myself. This was a one-woman band. You see me here with one hand. Sorry for the shaky, you know, camera here, but I've got just
Wow.
about everything possible for a person, and a lot of YouTubers do it that way in the beginning, which is that I kind of really focused on them because even though I want to make film, I also need to know how to do it myself. Um, all the meetups are canceled. All the things that you would do, you know, that you would be doing right now, especially if you're coming up in film school, or in the case of someone like me who's going from maybe a year or two of self training to getting ready to work with other people. That's all been canceled.
Mm.
I wanted to do a 48-hour challenge, and they pushed it back until September. You know, because just as we all thought, you know, I'm writing something else, I've written something else, and, you know, I'm like, okay, let's invite other people to do this. Maybe when I put out ads, they'll respond. You know, I'm here in San Francisco, and we're all scared right now because as everyone else, I would imagine right now. So, as far as that whole question of how do you do it, if I don't do it, no one will do it. If I don't turn that camera on, no one will turn that camera on. You know?
Y'all hear that?
Now, if I don't figure it out, if I don't order those books on Amazon, no plug, or just wherever, sorry, I'm not going to know it. Because right now I am my camera person. I am my assistant camera person. I am the director. I'm the producer. And I am the lady that you saw in that short film.
And it was so good. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I can't
Yep.
wait for y'all. It's I mean, you're a testament in what all the filmmakers say. Like, Lisa, just use your time. You got a phone, turn it on, and like it's shot beautifully. The coloring is so. It adds another layer and choice to the comedy, and it's like thank you. Um, Do you have any thing you'd like to share with our audience? Can we follow you anywhere, either than your IG website?
You can certainly follow me at Twitter. I'm at Merrie Triplet, and the spelling's the same. MERRIETRIPLETT. And I say it like that because I'm very used to Mary, Igor, and Mary, Edward, Richard, Igor, Edward, T is in Tom, R is in Richard, I is in Igor, P is in Paul, L is in Larry, E is in Edward, T as in Tom. Because no one knows how to spell my name because I'm one of those people who spell a name, leave it to me to spell Mary, Merrie, right? And triplets, like twins and triplets, an extra T. And yes, I am not a triplet. So, last but not least, yes, it's triplet. There's an extra T, and I am not one of three. One of a kind.
You said you're not a comedian, but you're hilarious.
Well, I
Hilarious.
got jokes sometimes. I went to film school, but I was, like everyone else, I was supposed to be an actress. I was supposed to be on the stage. You know, but I'm also a little. I don't want to use the word bossy. I know that all the generations beyond me. Personally, I like bossy because I'm
I feel like
bossy.
our generation is accepted. We're like, because we're
I'm
fast.
bossy,
That
so I want it all.
eight.
I do want it all. I have some cake in the fridge. I'm about to eat it.
Oh, what kind of cake is it?
Lemon pound cake, homemade,
Mm.
nothing.
Can we just Oh,
You know,
can we just all simply celebrate this lemon pound cake? A triplet that's not a trip.
and it's
Our
wrapped in
Auntie
saran
Ross
wrap.
stuff in it.
It's wrapped in saran wrap. That's always a good cake. When someone brings it to
Because
me
it's
that's
about
wrapped up,
sweet.
you know, if it'd been on a paper plate and wrapped, it would have been even better. But I bought it at a store, but it's still good. Yeah.
I always feel like the Bay Area does desserts right. I don't know if it's because it's a little bit colder. But y'all do desserts right. I lived in Richmond for 5 years.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay. Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah. You know that.
Okay, y'all, this has been such a treat, such a treat. If you guys still have any questions for our brilliant filmmaker here, drop it now because I could go on for days asking questions, especially when we have a filmmaker in front of us. I mean, it's like having a scientist in front of you and not asking. than about like, science, y'all.
Yeah. Well, feel free. Feel free. As far as other sites, there's that very triplet. I do have, for those who are interested in Black Film News, I have a Facebook site. I believe if you type in Black Flicks, FLIX story, you should come across it. Black Flicks story. And basically, I just try to follow the news for all the black screenwriters, the artists, not just the actors, although they have something new coming out. And I see something online, I'll try and forward that information to everyone. And also, as I do more films, I will try to post that information there as well. You know, and if you like this, I also have a coffee site. I got it all going, but that's on my IG. If anyone who wants to support what I'm doing, it's for those who don't know, coffee is a way to for us to fundraise for our projects without doing a formal fundraising. So especially for creators like you, and like me, I have my coffee site, and I won't go too much into it. But if you're interested in that, sometimes I'll have extra films pop up. So feel free to go to the IG. You'll see it there, and you can follow that link to my coffee site.
Ooh, yeah. Can we find that on your IG? If we click on your IG,
You
we can
can. You'll
find
find it in the bio, but it also, I believe, it's something like co-fi.com backslash, and it's probably Merrie. It's either Merrie or Merrie Triplet. I know that's bad, but you'll see it there if you look at coffee. It's new.
well,
I'm working on
it,
it right now, but
this
you
has
still
been
find
such
me on the
a
IG.
it's been such a treasure. I'm going to ask you one last question about Friday, and that uh, is there any bad story? Like, is there any bad story when someone puts their heart into it? What do you feel about someone writing a story? How do for me, I come from musical comedy, and I come from an encouraging perspective when teaching, because it's just better. I just believe that. If someone tells me they can't sing, I say they're the most beautiful singers in the world. Because for me, it's not about tone. I could sing an opera and you would cry, but that doesn't matter if I'm not singing it from my soul and from my feelings. And so many times I've met students that can sing and make me cry because they're just singing from their soul and from their gut and their pain and their joy. And that honesty is what brings true artistry through. How do you feel about that when it comes to writing?
Um, let's see. Well, for me, there's two ways, of course, to look at it. I hear a lot of people say this, that they don't like bad stories because they don't want to take those stories home with them. That same goes for actors too. Especially if you're doing theater, you're playing this part over and over again. Sometimes two, three times, well, twice a day if you do a matinee. Um, for me, I'm still figuring that out, quite frankly, because you do have to tell the truth, and sometimes the truth is not true. Now that doesn't mean that every writer has to tell that truth. You don't have to sink into that, um, into those stories yourself. But I don't think there's a reason not to tell those stories unless there is some type of legal reason not to tell the story, or unless it's just something that you yourself don't feel comfortable telling. But in of itself, is there such a thing as a story that's too dark or too bad, or that that we shouldn't deal with because we shouldn't tell these stories? No, no. If they're individual choices, you know, are you the person for that story always? Maybe not. Some people like stories, and
Yeah.
no reason not to. We need those people, especially the ones who are good at it. There's always going to be people who like to break muck, you know, and leave those stories for them.
Leaving from, yep. Listen, yeah, I'm so lucky that we have our anti rock star for our Black Comedy Festival. Third year,
Right?
what? What?
Right?
And she's a part of it. She's a part of it. I'm gonna see if I can make you a shirt because yeah, you are definitely evoking hashtag anti rockstar
I'm
vibes.
digging that.
And like,
Yeah.
we are lucky to have you. We are lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very lucky to be here. And, speaking to all of your followers, thank you everyone for coming out and supporting artists like the one that we have before me right now. Um, gosh, what a year to do this. And you're still out there, doing your thing. So thank you. Thank you.
We're in this together.
Yeah.
Well, my dear lady, Merrie, we shall see you soon. We
Yes.
shall see you soon.
Yes, you will.
You have a blessed rest of your week, okay?
You too. And thank you everyone for coming out and listening to us tonight.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, and all y'all, this has been so wonderful. We'll see you on the next Q&A. Take it easy, take it easy. I am Marian Yesufu, Lady to be alive.